what is this podcast about? It probably would help if you don't chew into the mic.
My name is Libby.
My name is Luke.
In this new episode.
This
new season.
And we are going to be focusing completely on weddings.
We are, in fact, the Wedding Pirates.
There's no other podcast like this. I've looked. I've checked.
And we have a cat. Her name is Stella.
We want to share all the secrets when it comes to weddings.
The one where we talk. Wedding edition.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the one where we talk wedding edition. Today we're talking about branding and also how this applies to whether you're starting a photography business or really any business, or you're somebody that's looking to hire a photographer or a videographer, or hiring a business. Some stuff to look for in their branding that can be red flags, green flags. And from the vendor's point of view, I think it's important that we discuss, like, how do we give more green flags and red flags when it comes to your branding. When you think of branding, what do you think of?
The face of someone's company, I guess. What does their company represent? What do they stand for? What does their logo or like their branding, what vibe does it give off, I guess? Yeah.
No, all those things are, you listed all the right things, the vibe that they give off, but usually people, that's pretty common what people will say when it comes to branding. They say logo, they say appearance, your face, and I think that we put a lot of pressure on that. Like, if you go onto most photographers' websites, or just in general, just Instagrams, and you see one color palette, you see one consistent kind of shot, nothing, like everything's the same.
Mm-hmm.
That is the traditional idea of branding in its purest form. When in reality, when people look at a brand, they're looking for something different. When you get an advertisement on Instagram for a bed, think about that for a second. How many times have you gotten an advertisement for a bed and the ad is set up in a way, whether it's comical, whether it's serious, whatever they're trying to communicate in the ad that they're showing you is communicating quality, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you see what's that roll-up bed that comes in a compression box, it's a really poor quality mattress, but the way that they displayed it makes it seem, ooh, that looks like a really high quality thing because of the way that they set up the ad.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the branding. It's all in marketing. Gucci, not a really high value, not a really valuable product in itself. It's in the name, though, that creates the value. But are you getting value out of it? Kind of, if you want to appear cool before other people. But so you need to ask yourself, when you look from a wedding, if you're hiring wedding vendors, from the bride and groom's perspective, when you're looking at a brand, you need to ask yourself, what are you prioritizing, and what do you want to get out of this? And does their brand fulfill everything you want to get out of it? If you want to appear different, and you want to be best friends with the vendor, and you want to have a personal experience and a customized experience, and you want to feel exclusive, then you're going to look for a completely different vendor versus, I just want photos. I don't really care. You're going to go look for someone that maybe doesn't care as much about their branding. They just want to push product, and that's not bad. That's what you need. Maybe you're like, I don't want to take time in getting to know my vendor. I don't care about that. What I care about is the flowers. I want my wedding day to smell good, and that's perfectly fine. But you need to know what you're looking for in your vendor. Mm-hmm. And the end product that you get is determined by the branding of the vendor that you hire, at least in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's It's all about what you want, what you care about, and also too like looking into a brand and what they stand for. I think knowing what you're supporting is important.
Yeah, because you have a lot of vendors that are just that work as a hub, and then they outsource everything. So you have, for instance, you have somebody that runs the entire floral shop, but they're not at any of the weddings. They're sending their employees to go do all the weddings. Or you have a photographer that maybe has 15 years experience, and now he has a whole plethora of photographers that work under them, and they're not going to be at the wedding. They're sending one of their photographers. Same work with DJs and all that. So you need to know, is that their branding? Is that what they stand for? Are they supplying jobs, or are they an exclusive all in-house company?
Yeah.
That's something you need to be asking yourself. That's something you need to be asking your vendor. And that's something you need to be asking yourself as a vendor. What do you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
What is your end goal? Is your end goal, I just want it to be me? I don't want to have employees. I don't want to have to worry about payroll. I don't want a gigantic office, and I don't want to do 150 weddings a year.
Right.
I don't want to be a corporation. I just want it to be me. Or, like, do you want to be a wedding hub, a wedding center where you can just push all the wedding vendors and have a massive corporation? Neither are wrong. It's a matter of figuring out, what do you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think, oh, I'll just figure it out as I go. You kind of can figure it out as you go. I know for us, that's kind of how we did it. How would you say our branding has developed?
Our first idea of what we wanted to do was just to get as much experience as possible shooting content, I guess. And so we started out just asking couples if we could do photo shoots of them, or babies, or engagements, or
Yeah, we literally just
whatever,
reached out to
proposals or graduation photos. So we were just reaching out to people, and we named our first company L&L Photography because Luke and Libby starts with L, both start with L.
And people always said, oh, L&L, I can remember that. So we thought, well, we might as well just go with that.
Right, yeah. So it was very much of like and our logo was like of a camera that had two L's that were like mirrored as like the base of the camera. And yeah, it was just kind of more of like a cutesy logo. So we got a lot of, we didn't really know what we were doing as far as the brand went. And then we decided, hey, what are we wanting our business to look like? What do we want to focus on for our brand? And decided that we really liked doing weddings, and that's what we wanted to focus on. Then we realized we wanted to do weddings that are different, that are not your typical get married in church, have a reception,
the end,
at a banquet hall, the end type weddings. We wanted to do weddings that were different.
More so different couples. You can have like a basic church reception hall and all the things. You could have the basic things and have not a basic couple.
Yeah.
You could have a very untraditional couple, put them in that scenario, and all of a sudden you have an amazing party, an amazing experience. It's all about the people. So we focused on the clients. Then the clients just make the venue. They make the experience, they make the space, and that kind of developed into this idea that, like, well, we want the people that are different. We want the people that are going against the rules, and obviously rebels. Yeah. So we're looking for rebels in love, and that's where that kind of developed.
And then our logo changed from the camera to skulls and two roses.
Skulls and roses.
Skulls and roses. Skulls and roses.
Yeah, but that's what branding is. I think the best way to let it happen is to let it evolve. Some people feel like they need to have a gigantic room filled with all these people. I think we reached out to 1924 US when I was first developing this idea of rebranding from L&L to something else. Mm-hmm. But we didn't have $15,000 for a rebrand, which if you do want a legitimate rebrand and you want it done right, and you want them to do all the designing and to communicate to you what they think your vibe is and try to fix that, then you're gonna pay upwards of $10,000. Like, that's something that I figured out. I said, okay, well, we don't have that kind of business income,
Right.
So we need to figure something else out. So we did a lot of things ourselves, and we went the local route where we found a local artist to draw our logo, and we developed our own brand name. We went through a couple different names. I think at one point I said shipwrecked. Like, oh, that's not something we should probably communicate in weddings.
Yeah.
We
were trying to think of like pirate pirate like themed, because we really like pirates and.
It's not so that we like pirate. It's the idea of the freedom of the pirate, trying to communicate to people.
I just felt like a little 2-year-old. So why did you decide to play with this toy? Well, because I really like pirates.
But it's true.
They're just so cool.
I think that communicates to our clients that, you don't have to be traditional. You can, because we did whatever we wanted with our brand. Like people said, you guys look like pirates. Cool, that's our brand. We're going with that. People loved that. We went with it, and that communicated a certain vibe. It gave us the freedom to deliver something completely different compared to just other brands, where a brand is a single color palette, or a brand is a one look kind of thing, and it's just straight to the point. Like we want this relationship, we want these people, we focus on the clients, and we went completely the opposite direction of what weddings are supposed to look like. And to a lot of people that was uncomfortable, so we lost a lot of our friends who are in the wedding industry, I would say, just because we are so different in the way that we connect with our couples, in the way that we communicate what matters to us, because we want our clients to understand what matters to us just as much as we want to hear what matters to them. Because if we understand each other and we have that relationship, then we can create an amazing piece of art together. And that's what it's actually about. I obviously need to be paid for my time, but because this is what I do for a living. But because this is what I do for a living, I could give them complete focus. And that is the brand that we try and portray. But how would you think about other people's brands? What are some brands that you admire personally? It doesn't have to be in the wedding industry. It could literally be anything. Something that you admire and you relate to that kind of draws you to the brand. I'm repeating myself.
Well, I guess the one that comes to mind is 1924 Us. They are I love what they stand for. I love their brand. I love their coloring. I love just their vibe.
They're very bold in their statements too.
He stands up for a lot of things that are like cultural things, like pornography. He stands up for that, like to get rid of it, which I love.
Consumerism. He goes up against he's got a very large following, like upwards of over I don't know, 250,000 or something like that. Probably more, less. I don't know. But
he's got a large following.
He uses that following, and that following does get attention, and he'll lash out at brands like Gucci and big consumer
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga and big corporate consumerist brands. And people see it, and he gets a lot of flashback. But he takes it.
I mean, he has haters for sure.
Oh yeah, of course.
But with the love comes the hate as well. So that's one brand that I really like. What's another brand that we really like, or that I like a lot?
I really like the PETA vegans are not gonna like this, but I really like Truman boots.
Oh yeah.
So just when it comes to random pieces of things that are high quality, I think that there's a lot to be said about the shoes that you wear on your feet. If you're wearing cheap shoes and you just have 20 different pairs of cheap shoes, it's not really, to me, that's not really communicating value, and it's kind of wasteful to me. So I like to know that I have a couple pair of high quality shoes that are going to last me. And my feet eat through shoes. It's a very important thing to me. I have flat feet, and my feet just, I don't know what happens to the shoe. My foot just eats it. I just wear holes through them like within a year, so I go through shoes really fast. So boots are really chunky, and I like to go towards boots. But Truman Boot Co. is they communicate quality over quantity, meaning
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of boots, but they don't make an insane amount because they're all handmade, and they literally show you the cow before gets turned into a boot, and then they use that cow and they sell it to local butchers, and therefore they're giving back to the community, and they're not wasting anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that that's a brand that I admire.
Yeah.
What's we're big fans of small businesses. I mean, if something is small, if somebody's starting something small, if we come across a very small stand, even if we're not sure if we're gonna like it, especially when it comes to like food, pickled things, you can mess up pickles. But if I have the chance to buy a small business's pickle jar, I'll do it. I'll give it a try. I've had some bad luck with homemade pickles though.
Mm.
I feel like they could be, but
Yeah, we really like supporting small businesses. There's this business up in Asheville, North Carolina, that I really want to go to. They have really cool rings.
oh yeah,
Yeah. I want to go look at her shop.
yeah. We like jewelry, and just when it comes to our own personal life, what we focus on for branding. You can't do it with everything, like because life does get expensive. You can't be 100%. It's ethical. I think it's
That's what we try and shoot for,
Yeah.
is like trying to support companies that are ethical, that source from ethical sources. That was redundant,
as best
but
as we can, because it is expensive. I mean,
yeah.
because the smaller the business, you're supporting. And there's a car leaving, in case you hear a rumble in the background. That's great. There's definitely value in searching for companies that are small and trying to support a small business, but at the same time, it gets expensive because you're supporting that one person. It's not a giant corporation where this millions of dollars is spread out through this entire company, and so you can go to Walmart and pick up a $5 pair of shoes. You're buying a $200 pair of shoes because it's this one person making 100 pair of shoes a year.
Right.
That's not a lot. When that all adds up after taxes, that's not a lot of money. So the same goes for photography companies. Like, you're going to get a better price from a corporation than you will from a smaller photography company that is trying to sell you value and customer service. Insane customer service, because they keep their quantity of products small, so that way they can give you the best attention.
Right.
It doesn't take us 5 days to get back to you in an email. Like, we're very, very quick when it comes to our communication. Not everybody can afford that, though. It's not in everybody's budget. So in some instances, a brand can communicate value and can communicate that this is going to be expensive. This is going to be luxurious. But you can get the same thing where this is going to be expensive, and that experience was not luxurious. Because there's a lot of companies that just say, "Oh, I could be you're going to pay 10 grand for a wedding? Okay, then I'll charge 10 grand." And then they don't spend any time on their skill, and they haven't developed their skill or their brand in over 15 years, and they're still the same, and they still look like crap. Then those are the things you got to watch out for. But all that, you can find all of that out by talking to them face to face. Demand a FaceTime, a Zoom call, even if at minimum a phone call. You need to hear how much they care.
Yep.
If you care a lot about your product and your video and your photo, what you're getting at the end of the day, you need to have a personal talk with that vendor.
Right.
Even if this is super boring to you and you're just over talking to vendors and it's just so stressful, prioritize talking to your photo and video people, because if you don't, you have no idea who's showing up to your wedding day.
Right.
And they can fuck the whole thing up. You put in, because so nobody's going to remember the invitations, nobody's going to remember the flowers or the officiant or the amazing centerpieces, because somebody that didn't know how to capture it was there.
Right. Yep.
Talk to them face to face, or talk to them voice to voice at minimum. But to me, I think that at its core, you'll be able to figure out somebody's brand and what they actually care about, and if they actually care about their product, by just listening to them. I think there's a lot to be said with that. But Did you have any other brands that you admire?
Not any that are coming to mind right now. I'm sure there are. Um,
A lot of small companies come and go too, which is sad.
yeah.
Like you'll get a really cool sheet company, like a bedding company, a linen company. Like, wow, this is such a cool company. It's all ethically sourced and it's made from bamboo, but they can't stay afloat because their bed sheets are, a grand per set, and not like we just talked about. Not everybody can afford that. That's not in our budget. I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for bed sheets.
Right.
I don't have that. Even if I did, like, I feel like there's other things I could be spending my money on than my bed sheets.
Yeah, like a really good espresso machine.
Is that what you? Is that what's quality to you? Like, you want a really good espresso machine one day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can just work at a coffee house and use their espresso machine all the time.
Yeah. Or a really nice couch. Really good quality couch.
Yeah, good quality couch is important to us. Coming from the people that live in a bus.
That don't have really great quality.
They don't
couch,
have,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't want a cheap couch that is uncomfortable to sit on or.
Well, I think living this lifestyle, we know what quality means now because you have one of a lot of things when you live in this kind of lifestyle, like in a tiny space.
Well, you have to do quality over quantity when you live in this small of space because you
Right.
are you're constantly wearing things out a lot. So like our fridge freezer, are constantly using that. Not that you don't in a real house, but
Yeah, and well, the things in an RV, like a traditional RV, it's not built to work 24/7. It's not built to be lived in 24/7. So those things, so people think, oh, just go buy an RV. It's already set up. Like you could, but a lot of things are going to break a year in because you've been using it every day 24/7 like you would a normal house. It's not meant to be a normal house. It's meant to be 3 weekends, maybe 1 week a year.
yeah, I don't know if anything in our bus is actually broken since we've lived in it.
Our foot pump because it froze.
Oh, that didn't break necessarily. It froze and the lining started peeling.
Yeah.
And we didn't want plastic pieces in our water, so we got a new one. But.
Yeah. So stuff like that, or like I said, our shoes. When it comes to clothing, we try and do a lot of thrift shops as much as we can. Yeah. Because that's clothes
we
is
love
just
thrift shopping.
Yeah, we love thrift shopping. We found we have really good luck with furniture, which really sucks when you live in a bus like this, because we'll come across stuff that doesn't have a brand on it. A lot of times the best things don't have a brand on it. You ever notice that? I have an amazing flannel that doesn't have a brand on it.
Yeah.
It makes me really sad. But we have really great luck with being on the road. Well, let's go check out this thrift shop. Let's go check out this antique shop. Sometimes you find cool things, or like whenever like I need a new T-shirt or something, like I'd rather go find it in a thrift shop or something.
Right.
And we always come across these amazing couches, solid wood dining room tables with solid wood chairs, just amazing pieces. We've come across so many china cabinets. Oh man, if I had a place.
Kitchen tables.
Yeah, kitchen tables, side tables, just a bunch of really cool stuff for dirt cheap. Like you can get that one table that we found was amazing at Salvation Army. That like had white legs and it was naturally worn like an old farmhouse table, and it was solid wood, super heavy. It was like $250.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I was so pissed.
So we really like quality over quantity.
And that communicates, I think that should communicate who people are personally. People that don't care about quality.
Yeah, maybe ask the brand that you're going to go with, for the company that you're going to go with, like, what are their values in life? What do they value in life? And that'll tell you a lot about them as humans, too. And because you don't want to work with some asshole. It's
true. And that's a lot of extra work, though. And some people, I've met a lot of brides and grooms. A lot of brides and grooms move on from us from the inquiry of, hey, do you have this date available? And I say, yes, we have this date available. Let's set up a call. And then there's a 30-day process of us booking you. of you booking us, making sure that we, from the point of contact all the way up to the point of you signing a contract and beyond that, we are involved and you are involved and we are talking like we're best friends. By the time that we're done with this, your entire experience, you know us and you're comfortable with us. But that takes a lot of extra time, and and we've had a lot of brides and grooms that contact us, and I start that process. They're like, we don't have time for this. Okay, cool. Then you can totally move on to another vendor that will give you the speed that you want as far as your product. You can get next day edits. You can go and do all the things, 100%. If we're not your vibe, what you're looking for, before we even take a photo of you, definitely don't book us. Right. I would recommend that for any bride and groom. I've turned away brides and grooms. We've turned away multiple brides and grooms just because we said, like, we don't really feel like we vibe with you, and we want to be good friends with you. And it's not like personal, like we have something against you. It's just we don't feel like we won't be able to capture your wedding. We won't be able to do it right, and we want to do it right. There's no wrong in that.
Right.
But that should communicate what kind of brand you should be looking for. And what kind of brand you should become, is know what you prioritize. But that's about all we have time for. Thank you for listening to the one where we talk, Wedding Edition, Season 2. Remember that we have a YouTube channel where we post all of our work. You could also see a bunch of seasons of us living in our bus life. And remember that you can rate and like this show, and we hope to see you on the road one day. Have a wonderful day.